Welcome back to EastValleyTribune.com and Varsity Xtra, talking 2013 football previews. They ramble on. We're going to spend about 2 minutes talking about the Tempe Buffaloes, one of the more interesting stories from last season. Got off to a hot start, obviously then got into a big controversy when they basically pulled their team off the field at halftime in a blowout loss to Saguaro. It's been a real struggle. They ultimately missed out on the playoffs, and that's going to be the interesting part. And it's been a real struggle for the last few years at Tempe High. Coach Brian Walker got things turned around with some help of some pretty talented kids last season. A lot of those kids are back this season. Is this a playoff team?
I think so, absolutely. Like you said, they had a huge turnaround last year. They went 6-4 after being, I think they were 1-19 combined the 2 years before that, and they were just one of the worst programs in the East Valley at that point. And Brian Walker's done a great job. Emmanuel Gant's back for his junior season.
Yeah, terrific quarterback.
Great quarterback. Yeah, like you said, Messiah Smith, Sebastian Watkins, his two main receivers are back. And then they got Cameron Johnson from Marcos Deniza,
right.
who he was a sophomore last year. He didn't play a bunch, but he averaged like 12 yards a carry. So those skill guys are all going to be really good, and looking at the schedule they have, they should win a lot of games.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that there's a little bitter of a taste left in their mouth after the way they lost to Maricopa at the last regular season game last year, which ultimately kept them out of the playoffs. And Maricopa, by the way, is, I believe, week 1 on the schedule for this season, so that game will be interesting. The one thing I'd like to see is, because the schedule is drastically different than last year, Maricopa, and I believe they got Thunderbird in there, and another interesting matchup or two. But the strength of schedule part to me is going to be very interesting. I mean, if you look at their schedule, I think they could be 8-2. They could go 9-1 even. And certainly, I think they're going to have to go 7-3. That's the interesting part to me, is if you go 7-3, are they going to get in with the strength of schedule? Obviously, we'll have to see how all the schools play it out, but that to me is going to be a very interesting part of Tempe getting to the playoffs, which, like you said, would be a terrific story.
Yeah, I think 9-1 is a legitimate thing for them. They, like you said, their schedule's not very hard. The weird thing about Tempe is that they're pretty low in numbers still. The defense has a lot of question marks, and you've got these skill guys who are all really good. So can they lead them the whole way? Because it's still kind of a rebuilding program, but they've got these athletes that are really good. So it's a weird dynamic with the team. But with the schedule, I think they're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, and they're certainly going to be a fun team to watch.